AITA for asking my parents how long it would take them to notice if I died, after they ignored 6 hours of calls about me being in the emergency room. I, 16M, am the middle child of 3 boys. My older brother is only 10 months older than me, 17M, and my younger brother is 2 years younger, 14M. That means my parents had 3 sons in less than 3 years, which by all accounts is a lot to handle. But from the beginning, the dynamic in our house has always revolved around my older and younger brothers because they hate each other. They're constantly fighting. Not just typical sibling stuff, but full-on shouting matches, physical fights, and passive-aggressive nonsense like hiding each other's things or lying to get the other in trouble. Their drama demands so much of my parents' attention that it feels like there's never anything left for me. And the worst part is my parents have used that as an excuse for everything. We're just so overwhelmed. Your brothers are so much work, you're the easy one. And for a while, I accepted that. I was quiet. I followed rules. I didn't fight or demand much. But somewhere along the line, easy turned into invisible. When we were younger, it was small things. If we went to the grocery store, my parents would always let each of us pick out one treat. But somehow, they always forgot to ask me, and I'd have to speak up after everything was paid for. Usually, they'd laugh it off, or sometimes not even notice until we were in the car, and I'd stay quiet the whole ride home. They forgot my order at restaurants more than once. They'd go up to the counter, order for my brothers, sit back down, and then realize they'd miss mine. That same pattern followed me as I got older. Forgotten promises, forgotten homework help, forgotten appointments. It wasn't just occasional. It became who I was in the family. The kid they didn't need to worry about, and apparently didn't need to remember. As I got older, things didn't improve. They got worse. In middle school, I remember a time when we needed to get school supplies before the year started. I reminded my mom a few times, and she kept saying we'd go soon. We never did. The school year started, and I walked in without half of what I needed. My teacher had to email my parents about it, and even then, nothing happened for 3 more days. Another time, they left me behind at the community center after my art class. My brothers have been fighting in the car, and I guess in the chaos, they just forgot to come back for me. I sat on the curb for almost an hour before I finally borrowed someone's phone to call home. It took multiple calls before someone finally picked up. Then there were my birthdays. One year, my mom forgot completely. I came home from school, and there was nothing. No card, no cake, no happy birthday. She remembered the next day and acted like it was no big deal. That happened twice. No apology, just a casual, "Oh shoot, we forgot," followed by an awkward, half-hearted celebration. Even when I directly brought up these things, my parents always gave the same answer. "We didn't mean to. It's just that your brothers need so much from us, or you're so mature and understanding." That last one always rubbed me the wrong way. Since when does being understanding mean you don't deserve to be remembered? I felt more like a placeholder in the house than a person. Like the kid who just existed quietly so everyone else could have space to be chaotic. I try not to resent my brothers for it, but sometimes I did. And I started asking myself, if I wasn't there, would it even make a difference? The breaking point came just a few weeks ago. I was spending the afternoon at my best friend's house. His mom made a snack for us, and I had an allergic reaction, not mild, but serious. My throat started closing up, and I broke out in hives. His mom acted quickly and drove me straight to the emergency room. On the way there, she called my parents using her phone. No answer. She tried my phone, which had been in my pocket, and was blowing up with missed calls once she retrieved it. Still nothing. She kept calling while I was being admitted. She called every 30 minutes, then every 20, then every 10. Nothing. My parents weren't at work. They were home. We knew because my friend's dad drove to my house after leaving work early. He rang the bell and told them in person what had happened. By the time they showed up at the hospital, it had been over 7 hours since I was brought in. I had already been treated, stabilized, and admitted for overnight observation. My best friend's mom had stayed with me, holding my hand while I cried. The nurses weren't supposed to allow that, but I was so upset, so clearly shaken, that they made an exception. When my parents arrived, they acted concerned, but it felt forced. Their voices were soft, their hands were gentle, but none of it landed. I told them to go home. I didn't want them there. I didn't want to see them. And honestly, I didn't want to be around people who only showed up when someone physically knocked on their door and said, "Hey, your kid is in the hospital." The next morning, they came to pick me up. Things were weird in the car. Quiet. They kept checking in on me, but I didn't say much. The damage had already been done. About a week passed. My parents tried to act like everything was fine, like their one visit to the hospital had erased everything that happened before it. Eventually, they sat me down and said they wanted to talk and apologize. I said, "Okay, but it's hard to believe it means anything." They looked at me confused, so I kept going. I told them I didn't understand how they could miss 6 hours of calls, that I was home late by nearly 3 hours and they didn't even notice, that it took someone physically coming to the door for them to realize I was missing. They started making excuses again, saying my brothers had been fighting that afternoon, and it took all their attention, that they assumed I was just staying late or forgot to call. but they didn't mean to ignore me. At that point, something in me snapped. I asked them, how long would it take you to notice if I died? Or would you even notice at all? They both froze. My mom looked like she'd been slapped. My dad's face went pale. They asked me why I would say something so cruel, and I said, because it feels true. I meant it. I didn't say it to be dramatic or edgy. I said it because I wanted them to understand what this has felt like for years. They didn't respond. The conversation ended there. A few days passed before my dad said anything else. He came into my room one evening and told me that what I said really hurt them, that it felt like I went out of my way to be cruel. He said I was usually the more mature one, and he was surprised I would stoop to something like that. I didn't say much. I didn't feel like arguing, but I thought about it for a long time afterward. Was I cruel, or was I just finally honest? I've spent years being the mature one, the calm one, the understanding one. I've spent years letting things slide. Birthdays, forgotten pickups, broken promises, because my brothers need more attention. And I'm tired of that being used as a free pass to treat me like I don't exist. So yeah, maybe it was harsh. Maybe it stung, but it was the truth. And if the truth hurts that badly, maybe it's finally time for them to face it. TLDR, my parents forgot about me during a medical emergency and have a long pattern of neglecting me as the easy middle child. I asked them how long it would take them to notice if I died, or if they'd even notice at all, and now they think I'm cruel. AITA?